Yeah, this is pretty weird. I mean, both our co-hosts are away right now.
Uh-huh.
So, like, Pete's on a honeymoon. He just got married.
Mm-hmm.
And my co-host is at a wedding right now.
Probably discussing his own future wedding, if I had to take a stab.
Really? You think so?
It happens. Every time you're at a wedding with a woman, that kind of shit comes up.
I don't think Kyle's ready for that yet.
Neither do I.
I don't think Kyle's even ready to learn how to use toothpaste.
Oh, man. He's going to be mad at you for that one.
He's going to be like, what's toothpaste? And I'll have to send him to Wikipedia.
Josh, my family uses baking powder. Thank you.
Baking powder? So, yeah, like I said, both of our co-hosts are away. So it's me from Critical Strike, this will be our episode 57, and you from PSNerds.
Mm-hmm. It's very odd.
Yeah. We're both filling in for each other. We're both filling each other, Billy.
Yeah. Holding each other emotionally since our other hosts have left us.
Right.
It's quite nice.
Yeah. But it feels good to be recording again, because on the Critical Strike side of this podcast, Billy, we have not recorded in a few weeks.
Really?
Yeah, remember Kyle went to a bachelor party or whatever, and I went to Funspot.
That's right.
So, yeah. Which Funspot, man, that is a blast.
Oh, yeah, you haven't recorded since then, have you?
No, I just said that.
Yeah, I know, but I was trying to think, maybe it just was a Skype call that we actually discussed it for a while, because I think we picked your brain on what you all did numerous times.
Yeah, that was like a Saturday night strike, as
that's right.
We like to call it around here.
So how many times did you harass Killscreen Guy?
Brian Koo.
Uh-huh.
Well, remember when I sent you the the message on Google Talk?
I thought you were bullshitting.
That was true. It actually happened.
It's terrible.
He was... I think he was playing Donkey Kong or Mario Brothers.
I'm sure he was.
And I walked by him and ever so slightly whispered, but, enough so he can tell what I said.
Mm-hmm.
I said, Billy Bill Black says hello, and walked away.
Oh, man.
And he looked back. and I just kept walking.
Not only did you break his concentration and probably his night, but now he's just, sitting there thinking, what the hell did that guy just say? I better watch out.
Who's Billy Bill Black?
Some giant just told me some guy says hi.
Yeah. I immediately, as soon as I went around the corner, I grabbed my phone and I was like, oh, Billy, you gotta know about this.
That is awesome, though. Oh, man. So tell me, what did you all exactly do, since no one really knows? Everyone kind of wants to hear about it, because I have to admit I'm curious, and next year could see myself planning the trip out there.
Yeah, Funspot, as featured on the movie The King of Kong, or the documentary, I should say. It's basically just the world's largest arcade, which is held in Laconia, New Hampshire, near Wares Beach. And it's basically it's the classic arcade tournament where everybody comes in and you can sign up for a tournament, and they have select games, which are all segregated from the rest of them. And you can basically take part in the tournament and try to set the weekend's highest scores or world records if you want.
Do you sign up for anything?
No, I didn't take part in the tournament. This is my second year going, and I've never taken part in the tournament. I typically just like to go and watch. And this year they did something pretty cool. They actually had it set up so the scores were updating as people were playing on a projector near the tournament. Really? So, as people were playing, I'm watching the scores go that they're updating constantly, which it was pretty cool. And they had the same thing for the mobile stuff too. So I was in my cottage later that night watching the scores just raise and raise and raise.
That's cool.
Yeah, and I basically just played a bunch of games, and my brother went with me, and we just had a shitload of fun playing games that we used to play when we were kids.
Not kidding.
He and I have kind of a competitive nature between us. Obviously,
really?
we're brothers. That tends to happen, and we're both, ex-football player, big boys, and getting us to play air hockey is probably a dangerous thing for people around us.
I love that you're at the biggest arcade on the planet and you're playing air hockey.
Yeah, well,
Just seems funny.
Dude, the skee ball is, but we must have played at least 9 games of air hockey. And there was like a little crowd gathering watching us. I'm sitting there, sweat pouring off my face, and that little plastic puck was almost shattering each time we hit it, because we were just hitting it so hard.
Oh, man.
It was an adventure, man. Like, one of the guys from Funspot was there. He's like, yeah, I'm just watching. This is really interesting. I said, go away, you're fucking me up, asshole.
Not kidding. Were you guys, like, swearing and things like that at each other?
No.
I hate your face.
Well, I was saying stuff like that, but I wasn't being like, you're a fucking asshole with a little dick. Because this kid's around. I don't want to torment them.
The real world's real. Just showing what it's like. Yeah, it's still funny to me, air hockey, out of all the things you guys could have been competing, like, I would have guessed track and field, that old machine.
Oh, track and field was played, Arkanoid was played. There was a game that I found out about a few years ago from Commander Tim, formerly of Gamehound's podcast. He does one called The Widget as well. And he used to talk about this game called Juno First. And it's an old, kind of rare game. It's kind of like a defender, but like rather than a left to right screen, you're up and down.
Mm-hmm.
And I played that game a lot, and I was terrible at it. I couldn't even break like 15,000. But I think the weekend highest score was set on like Friday or Saturday at like 100,000. And when I left on Sunday, I had it at 250,000.
No shit.
Yeah.
Wow.
I definitely want to buy that arcade machine.
Well, what's funny about you is because you do have an interest in those things. Like, it's amazing you don't have like 9 or 10 machines already and sitting in like a storage area that you just go to play.
Well, what I'm starting to do is I'm starting to buy arcade PCBs, like, the motherboards to them.
Mm-hmm.
And then eventually what I'll do is I'll just get a cabinet where I can swap in and out the boards at any time.
That's cool.
Yeah, I don't have the space for an arcade.
Most people don't.
Yeah, I've already talked about building a building in the backyard, like a climate-controlled building that I could put like 20 arcade machines in, and everybody's like, I don't think that'll work. I was like, it's happening. I got the plans right here. I've already designed it, and I'm building it.
Is there a soda fountain machine for your Coke Zero?
There just might be.
Yeah, that would be pretty sweet.
Coke Zero on tap.
What boards do you own already? Like weird arbitrary ones, or do you have just the big name ones?
Yeah, I have only a couple. I have Double Dragon, obviously.
Course.
You gotta have Double Dragon.
Yeah.
What other ones do I have? I got a Donkey Kong.
Yeah, I think that's a given almost.
I think that's it right now, but I've been eyeballing the 4-player Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That would be a good one. The one I've always wanted is Super Off-Road.
Oh, yeah. I played that up there, too.
Yeah, that's the game that just, no one would ever refuse to play that. And just spinning the wheel and drinking and yelling, like, that would be a great fun time. Because we played it on the Nintendo the other day, me and some of my buddies, and it's fun, but it's not the same of that whole wheel spin precise thing that you used to do as a kid. So
right.
When I do inevitably buy a house here, like, don't be surprised if that just shows up on Twitter that I just bought a Super Off-Road.
Yeah. Oh, dude. And like, luckily for me, like, New Hampshire seems to be like the hub of the arcade crowd. Like,
That's true.
There's businesses that sell them and repair them. There's this lady who does all this work for Funspot, and she has a website called myarcaderepair.com.
Mm-hmm.
And she sells a shitload of them. Like, Sneaky Turtle Egg was talking to her last year about buying a machine off of her. And it's just really weird. So, like, I'm definitely wanting to get into that scene and buy a couple machines, or, worst come to worst, make like a MAME machine so I can have it at least emulated.
Mm-hmm.
But on a cabinet. I think, like, if you're going to play an arcade machine, you need to play it in a cabinet.
Yeah, with like a bar stool and drink holder, all that stuff.
Yeah, that's like the right way to do it.
Yeah. Well, no one wants to sit around at like a computer screen in some guy's office. Like, you want having the cabinet, it just like triggers something in people's memories that it's fun. Like, I would even like it if I just had like a box of tokens that you had to put them in. It wasn't like it was just unlocked to play. Like, I think it would be cooler to have to put tokens or quarters in.
Yeah, yeah, and that's weird too, because like Funspot has its own tokens that they've had for years.
How does that work? Are the games like turbo expensive or?
No, what it is like all the games are run off of one token. That's it.
Huh.
And for like I think like maybe $20, I got 100 tokens.
Wow.
And
that's super awesome.
All the tokens are dated too. And I was in my cottage looking at them later that night, and I found a Funspot token from 1981.
That's cool.
The year I was born, which is crazy, dude. That's the fact that they've used these same tokens that long.
How many are sitting in front of you right now?
I would say about 150. And I have a coupon that I got from Cooper Hawks at PAX for 50 free tokens for like $20. So like I'll get the 100 plus 50 more.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I was saving that for we're having a Funspot trip in August.
Mm-hmm.
It's your co-host, Mr. Pete Dodd,
yep.
And his lovely wife, Arnay, aka Danger Wife, and Kyle and our podcast mascot, Nancy, and Mr. Sneaky Turtle Egg, friend of both our shows, and a bunch of his friends, and me and my brother again.
Yeah, that's going to be a good time.
Yeah, and now apparently Mr. Gamer Clash himself, Simon the Diamond Ivanov, might show up.
That will be cool. I wish I could. There's just no way, but that does sound like a lot of fun.
Well, we were talking about making it a yearly thing, too.
It could. If it works out pretty well, that would be neat.
Yeah.
Because I suppose I would probably rather go at a time like that compared to like the tournament. Because like you, I really don't give a shit to compete in anything like that. But it'd be fun to go when there's less people and more people that I know. I don't know. The real thing out of all that news that I thought was funny is that you were actually having some elaborate vodka drinks.
Yeah.
that was the biggest news.
I had those at PAX, too, when I was... The Red Death, you mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the Red Death is like the only alcohol drink I will have. And it was introduced to me by my brother years back. And I just kind of fallen in love with it. Because it kind of tastes like Hawaiian Punch. But it's like Southern Comfort, vodka, orange juice, lime, Amarillo, and it's very alcohol heavy. Most
Sounds
places limit you to like 2 or 3 of them.
I'm not quite sure how you get to taste like Hawaiian Punch, because all you just said that was in there was lime and liquor.
Yeah, I don't know. It just has this Hawaiian Punch taste to me. It's weird. But I had those at PAX too with the Rumble Pack. I bought one at the 1UP party, and all of a sudden, like Tom and his friend went like, "Oh yeah, we'll have the same thing," and they loved it too. Everybody out there needs to try a Red Death. It's really good. Look it up on Google.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to do that. I'll report back.
Oh, it's got gin in it too. Yeah,
Jesus.
Slow gin.
See, gin seems like slow gin. Right on.
Yeah.
Man, it's too bad you didn't have your memory card though, because I did like that video walking around. Because that was like there was at least 4 or 5 games that I used to play that I'd completely forgotten about. Like I already forgot the name again. The submachine gun Operation.
Operation Wolf.
Yeah, I played the hell out of that game as a kid.
Yeah, Operation Wolf. I played that once, and I'm still terrible at it. I was never good at Operation Wolf.
I don't think anyone was. It's just fun to hit that red button on the side.
And just blow everything up.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I mean, I did take a video of the first floor, and really, the first floor is where all the action happens. That is like your main gaming center. The second floor is a bunch of arcade machines, and then it kind of also blends into like the kids' machines, like they have a little merry-go-round and skee ball and stuff like that. And the third floor is pretty much all kids stuff on one side, so it has like skee ball and little rides. But then that's where your racing section is too. That's where you'll find like the 10-player sit-down Daytona USA setup.
Oh, cool.
They have like a 10-player Daytona USA. They have Cruisin' USA. They have NASCAR, and these are all sit-down units linked together.
Oh, that is awesome. See, that's where I would probably spend the majority of both money and time.
Yeah. Oh, dude, they have a shitload of those, and those are all on the third floor.
Do they have San Francisco Rush or whatever the hell that one was, where you could barely hold on to the wheel?
I don't know. I don't remember seeing it.
Because half the fun of those games is that they have like force feedback that can almost take you out of your chair. Yeah. I love those.
Yep. Well, they also have like Hydro Thunder, which is one of the sit-down games as well. Like they have a ton of the sit-down games, like Hard Driving. I don't know if you remember that. The game with the red shell that you used to sit in.
I don't.
That game was cool. Like, it had a chair that would swivel out, and you would sit in it and then, like, rotate yourself into the game.
Huh.
So, yeah, they have a Space Harrier that you sit in, and it moves around as well. Like, the whole cabinet moves as you're moving in the game.
Do they have one of those afterburners from Terminator 2 where the whole thing kind of pivots and rotates?
Yep.
Cool. Do they have They have the pod racing game?
I don't think so.
Damn, that one was one of my faves too.
But yeah, dude, Funspot is an amazing place, and seriously, if you can go next year, go. Like, I want Mr. Mick to come with us this year, but he's pulling the whole "I don't like old games" bullshit.
Yeah, he's rebuilding a basement. You got to cut him slack on that one.
No.
Okay.
We're supposed to be brothers in arms, Mick.
Yeah, I'm sure I could talk Frona into coming. She's probably never played 99.9% of all of those, but...
Well, and there's good shopping in the area. That is like New Hampshire's vacation area.
Mm.
So there's tons of shopping up there. And the place that we're staying on, you're right on the beach. So,
you know, if I go, though, I'm going to try your Fancy Boy roast beef sandwich, even though I'm not a big roast beef sandwich guy.
Oh, that was so good.
Whatever the hell those are.
Funspot is on Ware's Beach, and so we went down... like to a little sub shop or whatever called Where's the Beef? And it's run by a bunch of bikers, because you got to remember, Laconia, New Hampshire is where Bike Week happens. That is a big biker center area.
Mm-hmm.
It's like world renowned for that bullshit. But yeah, it's just got a bunch of great personalities, and there's a bunch of great people up there. And you walk down the street, and an old guy sitting in his patio room, and he's like, "Hey guys, how you doing?" It's a nice environment, you know. It's not like here where you walk down the street and somebody's like, "Get the fuck off my lawn!"
Yeah. Well, it's kind of small townish anywhere you go to.
And that's where I like it. And the chick at Dunkin' Donuts had really big tits.
That is always a bonus.
Yeah.
I do like donuts. And I
and
like
tits.
breasts, so it just works out.
Yep. That made my morning. Breast and coffee.
God, now you saying Hydro Thunder, I used to play the hell out of that game. Like, I'm pretty excited that that's coming out on the downloadable front.
It's not already out?
I don't think so.
Oh, I don't know. It's a new one. I know that. It's not the old one.
No, but it doesn't matter. It's just the boat racing. I've watched some videos on it. It looks fun. I've always liked that game for some reason.
Yeah, I'll be picking it up. I know that.
What was the racing? I can never remember the game, but there's the one where you're kind of in like basically a half pipe. It's a big red machine that you sit on. That was always my favorite sit-down racer in arcades.
I don't know.
Yeah, I can't think what it's called. Sneaky Turtle Egg knows what it is.
Yeah. That's going to be cool to meet him.
Yeah, that dude loves him some old video games.
Yeah, and he loves us. I'm pretty afraid, though, that he's going to try to cut my head off and be like, "Now you're retro," and he's going to put me in a glass cage and have me next to his like little Samson NES cartridge.
Mount your fucking head on the joystick of like a Street Fighter joypad.
Yeah, that's... Well, if I don't come back in, the second week of August to record a podcast, and Kyle doesn't come back, you know why.
Yeah, but I imagine that you're quite the force to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Especially after you're drinking pure liquor.
I tried to play darts after that. It was not a pretty scene.
No, darts. But darts are always more fun when you're drinking.
Right.
Because everything gets a little bit more fun when you're throwing sharp projectiles, but when you mix liquor in there, nothing but good times.
Right. So yeah, that's Funspot though, and it's a good time. I think everybody needs to go at least once just to experience it, even if you don't know the older games. It's just something to experience. I mean, you got to figure that's where your video gaming love started.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of good to understand where it began.
I have a feeling that I would waste at least $10 trying to make my way through that old X-Men arcade game, like the good one.
Oh, yeah.
I still love that game.
I didn't see that there. I know they have it. What they do is they swap games out every month.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I've never seen Juno First there until this year.
I wonder what the power consumption of that place is like. I mean, it's got to be just crazy.
Yeah, and what's weird is last year I was talking to one of the employees at the bar, and he was letting me know that Funspot makes enough money to keep themselves in business and have a little bit for expansion, but then what they do is they take the rest of it and give it away to charity.
Really?
Yeah.
That is fucking cool.
So like they don't make money and stash it away. Like a lot of what they get to maintain the machines are actually donations. Like people will send them like a box of 400 arcade buttons.
Wow, that's really awesome, man. Like it
Yeah.
really is like a community. I don't know. That's awesome.
Yeah, it is completely a community, and there's always events there. And like Video Game Outsiders podcast has an event there every October.
Yep.
And I think that's why like Kyle and I and Pete and all that we're thinking of trying to have the August one every year.
That is cool. Yeah, what's his name? Black Dog 7 or something like that.
Yeah, I met him.
Yeah, he's a pretty cool guy. At least not that I know him all that well, but I've talked to him a few times on PSN. He's a good guy.
Mm-hmm.
Not kidding.
So what's new with you? You play any what we love, the video games?
The TV games?
The games where you hook them up to the TVs?
Yeah, I've been playing one it's a surprise, but I actually went back and have just been on this fix to try and beat Rainbow Six Vegas.
Okay, yeah.
Like yeah, did you ever play that?
I know nothing about Rainbow Six Vegas. That
It's
is
just
not
one-
my scene.
It was one of the early games on the 360, and when I got it, I just played online only pretty much, and for some reason, I just decided that I want to finish it, so I've been playing through that on like the hardcore setting, and it's taking a fair amount of time to do so, but yeah, it's fun. It's not that great of a game, but just one of those things, for some reason, I'm just fixated on finishing it.
Well, you do love the realistic shooters and the stealth aspect of them, like the like the earlier Sam Fisher games. What is it?
Splinter Cell and the
Splinter
Ghost
Cell,
Recons, all
Graw,
that.
yeah.
And this one's got a pretty cool cover mechanic, but I mean, yeah, it's tough. If you walk around a corner and if you're shot, you're just dead and have to start over. But that's what I like about it.
Yeah, that, like I said, that is not my scene.
No, not anyway.
Unless it has Bub or Bob from Bubble Bobble in it,
Oh, sweet.
I'm not really too interested.
I played that last week too. I
Did
played
you?
shit. Yeah, I love Bubble Bobble, man. Like it's one of my main like trophies in my gaming career when I was younger. When we actually finished Bubble Bobble, both the first and second 100 levels, like that was really a thing. And writing down all those codes, and God, I
Yep.
used to love that game.
Yeah, oh yeah, I remember I used to play Bubble Bobble on the Commodore 64 and the NES and so forth. And up then, like, I have the new Bubble Bobble on the Wii, and I'm actually thinking about buying Bubble Bobble Neo on the 360.
Yeah, the one on the NES is the one I was playing, and it is, I am terrible at it now. I don't know how I ever made it through that game. It is not an easy game. In theory it is, but it gets pretty difficult to do what I want to do later on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's cool, though. Rainbow Six Vegas.
Yeah, that's not that exciting, but I have been playing that Muramasa on the Wii.
Oh, yeah. I remember you told me about that the other week.
Yeah, I like it. I mean, I can see where David said where he got burned out on it, about at the point where I'm at, but it's just there's so many swords to unlock and forge, and it's got a really, really cool art style, and it's really neat. It's just kind of a hack and slash with a really weird Japanese story to it.
And that's, I think, predecessor to Odin Sphere?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is also sitting here unopened that I ordered talking to you and David on Tuesday.
Yeah, and actually, you just made mention to me, too, like, that's not a greatest hits copy, and you don't want to open it now.
I really don't. Like, because it's like one of those things where the more I look at it, it's kind of like the end of an era, because I know, probably without doubt, this is most likely the last, like, fresh copy of a PS2 game that I'll ever buy.
Yeah.
It's not, like, labeled, like, greatest hits or something like that. Like, this is... It doesn't even have the little stickers on top of the case like everything has now, like DVDs and new games.
Yeah.
It just has the cellophane and that's it.
See, when you're talking about that, that's when you know that you've hung around me for too long.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Because I don't know why I don't want to open it. I mean, I really want to try it because it was a game that I always wanted to play but never got around to. And playing that one on the Wii, like I really love the art style and all the little problems with it I can get past when a game just looks perfect.
Yeah. Dude, like, see, if that were me, I wouldn't open it. I would go out and try to find the greatest hits copy to play it.
Yeah, but then the other side of me says, it's just going to sit tucked away and...
Right, you're not a collector like I am.
No, not at all.
Man.
I don't even keep my games in the cases. They all get put into books, and the cases get put in the garage.
That is crazy, though, that you were still able to find an unopened, not greatest hits copy of the game.
Mm-hmm. Love that Amazon. Free 2-day shipping.
Or free release date if you have Amazon Prime.
Not kidding. Not kidding. But I'm excited to try it, though, because I know in the end I'll end up cracking it open probably sometime this week, if not tomorrow. But I'm hoping the PS3 can maybe clean up some of the frame rate issues. The one bad thing everyone has to say about it.
I don't think no, I don't think that's gonna happen.
Really?
Yeah, I mean that would be like taking Double Dragon, the arcade machine, MAME, right, or ROM, and playing it on your PC. It's still gonna have slowdown because that's the way the game was coded, and it's still you're emulating the hardware, so it's still limited within the emulated hardware.
Yeah, right on. I have the original PlayStation, and it is one of those things that, I want to get a Slim, but there are random times where I put the old games in, and I hope they bring that back and start selling PS2 games. Like, that was one of the things at E3 that I was surprised. Not that we heard anything on downloadable games, but I really thought Sony was going to say, hey, we're going to start releasing PS2 games. Hey, here's some PS3 games you can download, and there's none of that. Yeah,
like especially when they announced PSN Plus. I was like, oh, now here comes I was talking to David, Thrillhouse during the Nintendo and Sony press conferences on Skype. And I was like, right when they announced PSN Plus, I was like, okay, here comes the downloadable PlayStation 2 stuff. It's got to happen. It's time.
Mm-hmm.
And lo and behold, nothing. And if they did that, dude, they would just take so much of my money.
Yeah, I mean, for sure, because there's a lot of times where I'll have my system on, and I have enough games I can always find something to play. But I will say, after having the Nintendo games on the Wii now, or all of those and random games on the DS, just having a library that I can just go, I'll play you right now, and not have to get up and go look for it or anything.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's quite a few PS2 games. Like, I probably would throw in some old Burnouts occasionally.
Yep.
I'd get weird at some point and play like some of the Lord of the Rings movie games, like just stuff like that. I don't know, it'd be fun.
Well, one of the things I've always said is your older games, like back in the day, a game from the NES used to be hardcore. You used to play it 24/7, try to beat it or figure out every little thing that you can and master the game.
Yep.
And now, like with me, NES games or even like up to N64 and original PlayStation, those games now are perfect pick up and play games.
Yep.
They're not like, I'm not going to try and master all these things about them. I just want to pick them up, play them for like 20 minutes and turn them off and not worry about it.
Yep.
And I don't care if I go back and redo the same thing because I've already experienced it once anyways.
Yeah, I mean, nobody gets pissed if they lost their progress in Contra or something like that. You know what I mean?
Because the first level of Contra is so awesome anyways.
Yeah, it really is.
It's just, those older games, like, yes, sure, a lot of them haven't aged well and so forth. You can come up with any argument you want for not liking or playing older games. That's fine. But for me, they're just perfect pick up and play games, and that's how I treat them now.
Yeah, there's a ton of games that I would just like to have from the PS2 era just sitting on there. Because I got rid of a lot of them over time, just back when I was poor in school and things like that. They end up going away. I didn't keep all of them.
Mm-hmm.
Or just games that you played at your buddy's house, like the old ATV game. Like, that game was just classic fun.
Oh,
do I want to go hunt down and find a copy of it? I mean, the chances of me playing it again, besides the day I get it, are pretty slim. But if it's just sitting on there, I know that I would.
Well, like for me, if I can play Final Fantasy X without having to put a disc in, I'm happy. They should come up with something. It's definitely time to start looking at downloadable PlayStation 2 games.
Yeah, I mean, the only problem is, and Pete and I have discussed it, is that they haven't got the pricing right for downloadable games yet, as far as like major titles go.
What do you mean, for like PlayStation 1?
No, I mean for like the Xbox games. Like, say, like the 360, when they have like the newer 360 games on there, when I can go buy a used copy for $7 and they're still $30 on their download service. I wonder if the PS2 games would kind of be in some weird middle ground area. Like, I'd have a really tough time paying $20 for a PS2 game.
Well, what's tough with that, though, is they're still selling PlayStation 2 games like new. They're still making them and selling them.
No.
You know, whereas like with the Xbox, as soon as the 360 came out, they were dead.
Yep.
So I mean that kind of throws it for a loop too, though, because like I said, they are still selling and making PlayStation 2 games.
That's the thing, though. I mean, I think a lot of those games they would try and get $25 out of, and it's just, yeah, I don't know. And their record of PS1 games wasn't exactly stellar. So.
What do you mean the record of what the games that they have?
Just like release schedules and just some of the titles they chose to put on there. It's just always been kind of.
It's gotten a lot better.
It has.
And their pricing, though, for me, I think is perfectly fair for a PlayStation 1 game. You know, like
$10? Yeah.
Well, no, your average run-of-the-mill PlayStation game is $5. And then, like, your bigger ones like Final Fantasy, Castlevania Symphony of the Night, and so forth are $10. That's not too bad.
No.
I can handle
that. That's definitely impulse.
Yeah. I mean, considering, like, a game that I've been playing recently on PSN, Joe Danger. That was what, like $15? And yeah, it's cool and it's a good pick up and play game, but I think $15 with downloadable games, they're starting to get a little out of my impulse range.
Yeah. I mean, if it was $10, I'd probably have it right now because I know that I'd have fun with it occasionally. But I'm still sitting here going, am I going to play it enough to justify $15? And I just don't know.
I think for Joe Danger, you should. That game is really good.
Yeah, well, later tonight, I think after we go golfing, I think some dudes are coming over. My cousin's going to be here and stuff. And I have a feeling that I might just start the download before I even leave, just to play it. Mm-hmm. So we might be online later.
I mean, you played Trials HD, right?
Yeah, I love Trials.
Okay, well, this is basically Trials HD, less serious and more cartoony. Like
it's kind of like what the Excitebike should have been, that one that was released on the Wii.
No. Get Excitebike out of your head.
Really?
Get Excitebike out of your head.
It's not like that?
This is not Excitebike.
It looks kind of like it.
It does, but it isn't. It's Trials HD, right, basically.
Really?
It's Trials with, like, everything in Trials was very physics-based. And, like, it took you maybe, like, 4 seconds to hold your forward D-pad down to rotate your character in the way you want, right? Yeah. Joe Danger is very loosely physics-based with having physics as well. And, like, you can do, like, a full 720 in the air if you want. And it's cool. It has all the challenges that, like, Trials HD would have, with better tracks, I think. Like, there's ones where you drive up to a wall, you hit the boost button, you bounce off the front of the wall, you go flying backwards, you hit a boost and it sends you forward. And then the whole way you're doing that, you're hitting buttons to do, like,
tricks.
Yeah, like twists and special moves and stuff like that to build up, like, the way the crowd thinks of you. And you're getting points for that. And you get points for hitting targets in the middle of them and so forth. There was a lot to do in this game, and I'm definitely impressed with it, and I'm very sad that I haven't spent more time with it than what I have. Of course, I have Street Fighter to blame for that, but
yeah,
it has from what I'm gathering, a nice level creating system within it. You can download them, and I believe it has online for it too.
Yeah, I really thought it was just like Excitebike with customizable tracks.
Well, see, what Mick or David told me, like, once you get to the end of a campaign, there is, like, a Excitebike type race, but, like, the rest of it is kind of Trials HD. But better, in my opinion.
Yeah, maybe I will buy that before I leave. That way it's ready to go.
It's definitely a pretty cool game. $15 is well worth it, but like I said, though, now that the whole downloadable services on Xbox Live and PSN are trying to make $15 the standard, that is definitely getting on my price range.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of like when you go out to eat, you know what I mean? Where it's like $7-8, you're like, screw it. But if you're going to go to some place, you know, that's like 15, you kind of sit there and debate how much you really want to eat barbecue that day. And that's kind of the same way I look at games, where it's just like $7-8, screw it. I'll spend that doing almost anything anytime I leave my house. But it seems like when you hit 15, it's like, I don't know what it is. It just seems like it's that much more money when it's really not. That's
because it's close to 20.
Yeah. Yeah, it's weird.
But I mean, that's why for main games, though, we have nice things like GameFly, which, speaking of GameFly, I got Lost Planet 2 and played that with you.
Yep.
Because I haven't talked about that on the show at all.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I think you have to agree, though, it wasn't as terrible as everyone made it out to be.
No, I remember, by the end of the time that we were done, even like within the first, I would say like 10 minutes, I was saying, I'm actually enjoying this.
Mm-hmm.
I had a good time with it, but one thing that you seem to know, but I didn't, was like, it gives you no directions really of where you need to go.
Yeah.
So like, you're like, oh, we got to go here, and I'm like, where the fuck is it telling you this? I don't see anything.
Uh-huh. There was quite a bit of trial and error at times.
And I just had a really good time with it. Like, I like how your character feels heavy and slow, and the controls are a little bit sluggish, and everybody complained about that, like the controls are sluggish, but to me it's like, I'm a big dude in a fucking metallic suit holding this gigantic weapon. Shouldn't I feel slow?
Yeah. Well, there's a lot of little things like that too. Like the mechs, when you get in them, people complain they don't handle well, and it's like, pretty sure that's kind of what a mech would handle like. It's a giant clunky machine.
Exactly.
It's not a ballet dancer. It's going to have problems going upstairs. That's just the way it's the nature of the beast.
It made sense to me once I finally got the game in my PlayStation 3. Like, yeah, when I wasn't playing it, I was like, oh man, this is going to be fucking retarded. And why is Billy making me play this? But then once I started playing it, I was like, yeah, this isn't so bad. Holy shit, there's a big fucking slug.
Mm-hmm. Like, massive. Well, it's just one of those games, to me, for some reason, it has like a classic feel to it. Where to me, it just seems, it's nothing like Contra, but that's the same kind of feel I get out of it. You're just running around, shooting aliens, and it's just, they don't really hand you anything. You actually have to work for almost everything you do, and I like it.
Yeah.
There's a big patch coming that I haven't read the notes, but David just keeps talking, because he hated the game.
Yeah.
And he seems pretty excited about the patch coming out, so it must be fixing a lot of the little quirky things that were kind of annoying.
Yeah, he said, he was telling us about it during Street Fighter the other night. He said that they are fixing and basically changing the entire game.
Really?
Which I think is sad, but, if that's what you have to do. I think at this point, though, they shouldn't, because it already has a negative view in the press. It's not going to sell any better now that they changed the entire game via a patch.
No.
It's not. I don't know. I think that they should just leave it the way it is. Why give in to what your vision is? If people aren't going to play it, then they aren't going to play it. So be it.
Yeah.
But I had a good time with it, and you can do some really creative things with it, too. Like, remember that one scene where I went up on a ledge, and there was one of those big fucking, like, I don't know, like spiders or whatever the thing's there, and you kind of ditched me. You went forward while I was fighting that thing. And It kept coming after me and almost killing me, and I was getting away from it by jumping up, using my grapple hook to pull me up and shooting it, and then drop down to the other side and rinse and repeat. I kept using the grapple hook to get away from it.
Mm-hmm.
That was fun to me, and it's like, you couldn't come help me because first off, you didn't know where I was.
True.
And it just, that was kind of a cool adventure to me. It's like, oh shit, I got to get through this so I can get back to Billy, and I don't know. I had a lot of fun with it, especially the train level where I was knocking you and our co-op person.
You son of a bitch. I forgot about that. Well, that whole level is cool because it just it has that classic feel to me where it's just the only point of the game is you basically just grind your way through the level, killing everything, and then fight a giant boss. Repeat.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know what all these people were expecting going into it. I really think they thought it was going to be Gears of War, and it's nothing like that.
Yeah, that is the problem. People were expecting Gears of War.
Because, man, the train level, I thought it was a really creative level. I think the way it kept ripping one car at a time off, and you slowly had to keep moving up, getting different weapons, and figuring out how to just hold them off long enough. And I don't know.
It required coordination. You're like, okay, I have one bullet left. Why don't you go back and get that big weapon? And then by the time you get here, you have to take over, and I'll go get the big weapon. And that's the way we synchronized the whole way. Until I felt like being a jackass and knocked you and our co-op partner off the train over and over and over and over again.
All right, I only got one bullet left. Now I'm dead. Thanks, dude. Thanks, dude.
You have one bullet left? You're useless to me.
Yeah, it is cool. I mean, I didn't even get far enough to, customize my character and things. I just, I don't know. I don't even know why I sent it back. It just kind of, tapered off. But I know at some point I'll pick it back up. I'll buy it.
Yeah.
Probably when the price drops again.
I'll buy it when the price goes down.
Yeah. I mean, I know Pete and Dave are wanting to go the Xbox route, but I'm not going to play those levels over again. We'll just pick it up where we left off and continue on.
Yep. I'll definitely pick it up on the PS3. And, yeah, I mean, if you can customize your character the way that we saw that one person who joined our game did.
Oh, yeah.
He or she came in and had, this fucking crazy laser weapon. It was taking things down in one shot. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah. I don't even know how you bring weapons into the game.
Somehow the person figured it out.
Yeah. I mean, it does make me want to play Monster Hunter, just because it is made by the same people, and in a lot of ways probably has some of the same fun built into it, I would hope.
Well, something like that, it comes down to, you just love the scale of the creatures.
Yeah, and that's a big part of it. It's just cool.
Like when I was running away from the slug and I hid into this tree trunk, watching it pass over me, I was like, holy shit, Billy, help me.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think you, on that same slug, I don't think you saw, but like, if you get lucky enough, he'll like eat you, and then you're running through his innards, like shooting at his heart, and there's more monsters in there, and I don't know, it's fun. There's not a lot of games that have kind of that epic scale anymore, you know what I mean? Like,
besides God of War and stuff like that, yeah.
Yeah, well, God of War obviously did it better, but it's just a different type of game. And
right.
I don't know. I thought it was really fun. It
was definitely creative. I enjoyed it.
It's definitely unlike anything else that I've played recently, and I think I can say that's pretty for sure.
Yeah.
Especially the opening level where I just didn't do anything and you did, and then the level was passed. I was just flying in a ship for no reason.
Yeah, that was weird. It put you on the end of the level and me at the beginning of the level.
Mm-hmm. Not quite sure what they were going for there, but easy enough for me.
Yeah, you just sat at the end point, and I'm like, Billy, where are you? I'm over here.
I'm at the end. Hurry up, dude.
And I got lost. And
yeah. I'll pick it back up. I'm pretty confident in that. And since it didn't sell, it'll probably drop in price here by the fall pretty easily.
Yep. I wonder how much it is on Gamefly now if you keep it.
Probably like $30.
I shall look, I think.
Yeah, the only other game I have from Gamefly right now is Resistance 2, but honestly, since that first day I played it, I haven't went back just yet for some reason.
I loved the first Resistance. That game was great. And
yeah, I just didn't.
I didn't play the second one. I think that came out in a time where, like, that's kind of when my love for shooters started to wane.
Mm-hmm.
And I just never got back into it for whatever reason. And, like, still, to this day, I don't really want to play a shooter.
Yeah. And I go in those swings, too. I mean, like, before the Battlefield Bad Company beta earlier in the year, I really was kind of off the online shooters, and I was just bored with it, and then that game totally just brought me back into it. So I'm sure there'll be a game at some point that just, like when you were saying the other day, like with that Arma 2, if we pick that up on the PC, I mean, that might be the one where you're like, oh yeah, I remember why I used to love these.
I'm thinking about buying that.
$50 is so hard for me to drop on a game where I don't know how much we'll end up playing it. I mean, if it was $30, yeah, I'd probably buy it.
Mm-hmm.
But $50, I don't know. I need to download the demo and see how the 9600 responds to it, but that was the game. Like, I love Operation Flashpoint. Like, two guys in my office, I just got them used copies from Gamefly for like $12 a piece. So we're going to start playing that again.
On the PS3
or? The Xbox.
Okay.
That's all those two guys have, but I mean, when both Arma 2 and that one were kind of in the news as games coming out later, Arma 2 was always the one I wanted. Like, it's just huge maps and the vehicles, and it just looks a lot more fun.
It looks so much better graphically, too. It's like...
Yeah, across the board, it's better.
Everything in Flashpoint, like, has a flat texture to it.
Yeah, and then they dropped the console versions of it, and it just kind of fell off my radar, because at the time I didn't have that better graphics card, and PC games weren't even an option. So, I don't know. I'll have to get the demo and see how it plays.
Mm-hmm.
Because it does look cool. It looks really cool.
So I know you guys have talked about it a few times on the show, but have you had any more interest in possibly picking up Modnation Racers?
Let's see, when is this? Middle of June. In about 3 weeks, I'm gonna buy it for Frona for her birthday.
Oh, sweet.
Because she loves Mario Kart. I mean, I don't know how much I talked about that back then, but she played that almost every day for months. Like, she just goes online, plays against random people, but in the end, like any game, you just lose interest in it. But something like Modnation, it's a game she knows how to play already, and there's basically an infinite number of tracks online she can just hop on and play and have like a better community than Nintendo. So I anticipate her completely loving that game.
Mm-hmm.
So it might be me talking to you on Skype while she races, but yeah, in a few weeks that's going to be sitting around here.
Would you yourself have no interest in playing it?
Very little.
I think you would love the track editor, dude. I mean, you are a creative guy, and You can do so many deep things with it.
I'm positive that I'll spend time with the track editor. I've never been real big on kart racing. It's not a knock on that game in any way. Mario Kart's were fun, playing at your buddy's apartment occasionally and things like that, but I've never bought one besides this one for her. It's just not my type of game. But I'm sure there'll be some nights where I'll play with you guys, if only to see all the random tracks and things like that, because it is a pretty cool game.
Yeah, I love it so far. And Pete's made some great tracks. Seriously.
Really? Yeah, and see, just like Little Big Planet, like I was real into building shit for that one for a while, and this one seems like it's even easier, so I can see myself putting a lot of time into that.
Yeah, it's very easy. It's obviously it's not as sophisticated as Little Big Planet, and that's why it's so easy. Be. Yeah.
What? How do I want to say this? How is, like, when you go online, how easy is it to actually find, like, the track? Is it, like, most played, or is it, like, new today, or most starred? Like, how do they separate?
All of the above?
Yeah. Like,
it
does have all that.
They have where you can look up most downloaded. They have it where you can look up most favorited. They have it where you can look up today's recent, and they have a text search. You can also look up by author. It has a ton of search options. It is not hard to find tracks.
That's cool.
And the same with it. The same applies to mods and carts as well. All I did was type in Famous Mortimer, and it listed all his tracks for me, and I downloaded them right there. And yeah, it is definitely. They have the search and everything down better than they did in Little Big Planet.
Cool. Because Little Big Planet, like, at least when I was still playing it, it was pretty slow and kind of it was touch and go. It seemed like it really wanted to work well, but it didn't always.
Well, with Little Big Planet, I think they tried to take the search option and make it look like it was in the game. You know how, like, you had the world and then all the maps or the levels were there, and they tried to take the artsy view and keep it cute like Little Big Planet was. And the problem with that is it wasn't intuitive enough. It didn't give you that opportunity to be like, okay, just show me the most popular, which at E3, which just happened, like, I wish when they showed Little Big Planet 2, I wish they showed how they plan to rectify that in the upcoming Little Big Planet 2.
Yeah, I think in the end it needs to be, like, PC based, just to not totally, but allow the option so that when I'm sitting at work, I could just start scrolling, looking at tracks or looking at levels, and just kind of mark all those on my queue, you know what I mean?
Well, at E3 they did say Little Big Planet 2 levels are going to be web-based. So you'll be able to, like, go onto their site, search all the levels and stuff, and then, like, select them, so I guess, like, they'll download for you when you turn back on the game. They did mention something like that.
I'm still on the fence with Little Big Planet, I think. I'm not knocking it in any way.
From what they showed, though, at E3, I'm all over it, dude. Like, actually creating games within the game. Like, not level games, like cheap little games that you had in Little Big Planet 1, but these are, like, full games.
Mm-hmm.
It looked great.
See, for me, and it's the same thing with Modnation, as much as I love the creativity of it, and I'm all about all of that stuff, everything does come down to how much fun am I having playing said levels. And I really never had all that much fun playing Little Big Planet, but I really loved the idea of it, and I liked building, and it's going to be the same thing with Modnation. And I just say I'm on the fence, because we'll see how it all goes. I'm sure I'll give it a shot.
I think one of the problems that Little Big Planet had, at least within, like, our community, is that none of us really played it together. And that's one of the problems. Like, every game is always better when you're playing it with friends, no matter how bad it is, i.e. Lost Planet 2. Yeah,
no question.
And I don't think I've ever played Little Big Planet 2 or Little Big Planet Online with others.
I think I've played with Mort and Chart a couple times, and I played with randoms, which doesn't work. But, now that they're bringing in, like, party chat and all that stuff, because that's one of the bonuses of the Xbox with the party chat is once you're partied up, you can just... What?
Don't go down this path with me.
No, what I'm saying is that, like, if I'm sitting there talking with 3 of my buddies, we can all just pull into the same multiplayer match, pull into the same game, and I hope that Little Big Planet does that really well, to where we're all kind of sitting in a lobby looking at levels, and, like, Pete's like, let's try this one. And we go, and it just pulls you in, pulls everybody back out really kind of seamlessly. I think that'll help get people playing together.
We'll see. Yeah, but all that depends on PSN Plus too. Like, who's gonna get it? I'm honestly thinking about it because, like I already have Core, right? And you get Core with PSN Plus, so like that's already part of my pricing at that point.
How much is Core?
I think it's like $25 a year or something like that, maybe less. So like that's already like half of PSN Plus's price. And plus on that, I'm getting free games and free DLC and so forth. I don't know. It's something to think about. I'm not against it.
I wouldn't say I'm against it either. I don't have any plans on getting it, but I can't hate them for doing it by any means.
No.
I'm surprised it took them this long, actually.
And like I said to everybody, it's no different than Xbox Live. I mean, you have your silver users and you have your normal users. The only difference is on PSN, nothing changes for the normal users. You can still play online. You can still do all these things. You can still voice chat. You can't with silver. Yeah,
my thoughts, though, is that as it proceeds, that's not necessarily going to be the case. I think inevitably they're going to want as many people on there as they can, and they'll make it to where you almost have to be.
It's something to keep watch on. But like I said, I'm interested in it. I think mainly for the fact of how I said I have Core now, so like, what's 25 more or whatever.
Yeah. The thing with me is that with Xbox Live Gold, they have the cards, and I've never paid more than like $32 for it. So I'm hoping that it's not just web-based. Like, I hope they have like Amazon having them on sale or Walmart or something.
Definitely.
And that'll be the whole thing. If I see it on sale for $30 one day, probably.
Yeah, and I have to call Microsoft and cancel my Live account because I have it attached to my credit card.
Yeah, that's a bad one.
And like, so they sent me the email, oh, your Xbox Live is renewing in July 15th or whatever. And, I was like, oh, maybe they finally fucking smartened up and would allow me to go to the website and cancel it.
No.
And, there is a cancel option, or there is a remove credit card option and so forth like that, right? And it says, are you sure you want to remove the credit card? Yes. You cannot remove your credit card. Fuck you!
Yeah. They're Nazis about it, man. You have to call them, and it's a bunch of crap involved. But with me, like, there was a point before the fall of last year, mine ran out. My Xbox was out for like 2.5 months, just because I was waiting to catch it on sale somewhere. Like, $50 is too much for me for what I get out of it, and I think $30 is the sweet spot.
Yeah, like if I can get the card cheaper, I'll do it. But I haven't played a game online on the Xbox in God knows how long. So like, why would I pay $50 a year for it?
Yeah, it's almost like I wish Xbox would let you play online for free, and I wish that auto-updating for the PSN was just a standard. Because that does chat my ass a little bit, but I understand.
It's how I said, like, on Twitter. Well, so, live members get Last.fm and so forth, and if I could have that as silver, that would be great.
Yeah, but the thing with Last.fm or Last.fm and, all those other ones like that, those are just kind of, like, features, but, like, you have to have updates to even be online with those games, and in a lot of cases, it's a whole night now where I'm not playing. Just like Resistance, I still haven't even tried to take it online because that 300 meg download just will not happen. But I'll have to let the thing run all night.
Here's the thing with the auto-updating, though. Like, I can guarantee you that if you go into the game, it's going to stop. Because remember, anytime you download anything from the store, it stops when you load a game.
Only online-enabled games, like if you're playing online.
But say you go play Modnation with us and you have a bunch of games auto-updating, they're going to stop. They're not going to continue at that point.
Well, the other thing with that too is I wonder if it has to be in that same power setting that like your remote play was, where it's basically still hogging power the entire time, or if it's like a timed thing where it just turns on, scans, and then shuts off. Somebody
talked about how they plan on doing it, like it scans like every couple of hours or something like that, or maybe like every 4 hours of you playing or something. It scans like the last 20 games that you played. Yeah, I don't know. It's pretty cool. I'm glad that they're taking the initiative with that.
Yeah, it's one of those things that's a little overdue, but in the end I could care less because I'm just glad that it's going to be there.
Right.
Because it always was a pain in the ass with them. But I don't know. It's because it's just like it's one of those things that you'll forget that it's even an option now just because you'll get so used to it being there. So
and the fact that they lumped firmwares in there is kind of weird. Like,
did they?
Yeah, they mentioned firmwares as well. But
I wonder if all those you can sit there and play with all the options to tell it what to update and what not to.
I'd hope so.
Yeah, because that could be a pain in the ass for certain people, like the guys who won't update their stuff now because of Linux, things like that.
Well, it's not going to apply to them anyways. They're not going to be able to get PSN Plus because that's going to come in a firmware.
No, I just mean like if later on they change some sort of setting, you know what I mean, and people weren't aware of it, now something's gone, I could see a lot of backlash from that, so...
Oh, yeah. Well, I mean, either way, you have to okay the firmware. I don't think it can just install something like that without you knowing, because first off, you could be in a game, you know?
Yeah, that's true.
That's not going to happen.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, that was one of the cool things from E3. I definitely, I'm not against PSN Plus. Like you said, I'm surprised it took them this long.
Exactly. Yeah. Can't hate them for doing it by any means.
Some people are.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm pretty unreasonable with a lot of things, and even I'm like, yeah, good show. Hopefully things run better.
Yep.
I just wish Skype would have been tagged in there as part of that.
You never know. It might be. I mean, whoever thought that we would get Steam support, or, you know, Steamworks, you know, from Valve.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, if they chuck in Skype, I'll buy it then, because then it becomes worth it for me. Well,
here's where we're starting to walk a fine line with PSN and PlayStation 3, right? If Steamworks is now going to be on it, okay? And what Steamworks is, it supports user mods and so forth for Valve games. So, like for Portal, you can, on your PS3, download all the mods and stuff, right? But Steamworks also supports cloud saving. So, like, your Portal 2 and any other Valve game from this point on is going to have cloud saving on the PS3. They could potentially expand that to support every PSN game, where it just pulls the save and saves it on their service.
Yeah, that would be cool. I'm not gonna lie, like if Steam would kind of become in bed with PlayStation, that would make my opinion of the system swing quite a bit more in their favor.
And the biggest thing, like when Gabe Newell came out, first off, David and I literally shit our pants. And yes, Mick, I just used literally shit our pants.
Yeah, they did. I listened to him clean it up.
But it was because Gabe Newell for years has talked trash. Since the PlayStation 1, talked trash about the PlayStation brand and how the hardware works and so forth. And yeah, in some ways he's right. You know, they should give you more memory and all this other stuff, but fine. You're a programmer, though. You should be able to get around these problems.
Yeah, but that's part of the reason I like him, because he was just being unreasonable.
Right. But then when he walked out at E3 and he had to eat crow, it was hilarious.
Money is a bitch, dude.
Well,
people like money and will do almost anything for it.
I don't think it was so much money as you got to remember when Left 4 Dead 2 came out on the 360. Valve has a history of giving away free content. Free this, take it, play it, love it, blah blah blah. Because it gets people to play their games longer.
Yeah.
He's no fool. So when they released Left 4 Dead 2, they wanted to release free content, and Microsoft said no, and he was bullshit over that. So at the Sony press conference, he's like, you know, open platform, free, free, free. And he was just touting that over and over and over. So, like, now, like, David and I were like, man, I wonder how far they plan on taking this. Like,
it's tough to say.
If they put, you know, Left 4 Dead 3 or Team Fortress 3 or whatever on there, plus Steamworks, you're going to be able to get all those fucking maps on your PS3. That's going to be great. Yeah,
plus the system you can... if they were to patch in the mouse and keyboard stuff, that would be pretty cool too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, I mean, I like the whole. I mean, that's why we're fans of the Droid. It's just the openness of it. Yep. But we'll see how well the two companies get along. You know what I mean? Because a lot of his points in the past were pretty valid,
mm-hmm.
And I would hope that like him in the company's decision to do this. Yes, they're going to put this stuff on the system, and yes, they're going to do this. But behind the scenes, they were like, now, if we're going to do all of this, you're going to need to make up a little bit of ground as well. So, I mean, it's nothing but win-win for us in the end, you know what I mean?
That fucking bird is driving me crazy.
Yeah, he is not happy with you, dude.
What the fuck? He's like, don't you talk about Gabe Newell like that.
I love Left 4 Dead. Tweet.
Gabe Newell is my hero.
Man, I never really got to play Left 4 Dead. I have it on the PC, but I never had anybody to play with it, and I didn't like playing it on the console.
You know,
that's one of those games in my pile of shame.
I will see if we can't get David together and we'll play it sometime.
Yeah, I'm gonna hold my breath.
I don't want to play it.
Exactly. Well,
I think that we should call this a show.
Right on.
So, yeah, this was Critical Strike 57 and PSNerds. number
53,
53.
something.
Yeah.
I think so.
This was weird.
It is weird because we're both filling in for someone.
Yeah. Oh, well, and like, our style is completely different. But you know what? Good times. Good times. We got together, we had a show, we talked about poop and made fun of Gabe Newell a little bit.
Mm-hmm. I'm actually really anxious for your guys' next show because I want to hear about Kyle's van ride with the fam.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
So he rented a van with his parents and his girl to drive all over the country into this wedding.
That is,
you know it's just going to be bad.
That is awkward, yes.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, you can reach Critical Strike at cstrikepodcast@gmail.com or voicemail 909-278-7453 or Twitter at Critical Strike. And you can reach PSNerds at... This is what you
the website... There's email, psnerds@gmail, as well as 785-FATWOOD.
And this is where Kyle would say,
Josh, how come we can't have Fatwood?
Dun-dun-dun.
all right, and that'll wrap it up for us. And I don't know, we'll see you later. Check out PS Nerds, check out Critical Strike, whatever. Goodbye.
Late.
Thank you.